Just when some positive things happen, you get socked in the gut with a setback. Things get better, then the team takes 2 steps backwards. While the Rangers agonize, the visitor celebrates. It is a trend we hope to reverse next. Fox Sports Net welcomes you to the ballpark in Arlington. Game 2 of the weekend series between the Kansas City Royals and the Texas Rangers. The Royals winning last night in 11 innings by the final of 10-7. Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Cotroneo along with Tom Grieve. The Rangers try again tonight to try to defeat the Royals. It hasn't happened yet in the first 4 meetings, Tom, and the Rangers hope to get that going this evening, and they do so hopefully with their superstar Alex Rodriguez continuing what he's been doing against the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, the Rangers have lost 4 straight, but if you look at what Alex has done against Kansas City, he certainly hasn't been responsible. Last night he had a couple of home runs and 4 RBIs on the season, 4 home runs and 10 RBIs in a losing cause. Carlos Beltran on the other side, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, a grand slam last night, a game winner in extra innings. He's done just about the same thing, only his team's come out on top 4 times.
And hopefully the Rangers will try to reverse that tonight with Kenny Rogers on the mound tonight for Texas in Game 2 of the series. Hoping to change things this evening as we bring you back to the ballpark in Arlington with Kenny Rogers on the hill for Game 2. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Pennzoil, we're driving protection. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By Gatorade, is it in you? And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Well, Kenny Rogers ready to go to work tonight, trying to snap the funk that the Rangers have been in against the Kansas City Royals. And hopefully Tom Grieve, he is the right man in the right spot to get things going for Texas.
Well, I don't know how the game is going to turn out, but when it starts, Kenny's the guy you want on the mound. He's had a terrific start to this season. He's pitched very well.
Now the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Kansas City. They have got a little different look tonight with the lefty going. Nathan Perez leading things off with a 4-game hitting streak. Then Carlos Fables and the hero last night, Carlos Beltran. Mike Sweeney, Joe Randa, Mark Quinn, Luis Alicea gets the start. A.J. Hinch behind the plate. And Valley Mills' own Donnie Sadler in left field tonight. Perez starts it off and goes after the first pitch from Rogers. And Kenny did not face Kansas City last year. He has not pitched against them since the year 2000. And Tom, he's a much different pitcher than the Royals probably remember from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think that the players this season that come to bat against Kenny and think of Kenny over the last couple of years see an entirely different pitcher. I think the biggest difference is his fastball. He's got 3 to 4 miles an hour extra on his fastball.
Now for the Rangers dodge defense behind Kenny Rogers. Hopefully they'll be busy, especially on the infield for the sinker ball pitcher. Begins with Todd Green tonight at first base and Michael Young at second. Herbert Perry, who just executed the first assist of the game, at third, and A-Rod, of course, at shortstop. And the outfield, Gabe Kapler in left, Calvin Murray in center, Juan Gonzalez with a great night last night with an assist, and Bill Hasselman behind the plate. Now Carlos Fables stands in and takes a strike. Fables does not have a hit against the Rangers this year. In fact, he's 0 for 14 against Texas pitching. He hasn't joined the Royals party against Texas.
Kenny is 5-3 on the season. Remember, he started the season with 3 no decisions. He pitched well enough in all 3 to have 3 victories. So that 5-3 could be better. He's 9th in the league with a .310 earned run average, and opponents are only hitting .252 against him.
And he's pitched into or beyond the 7th inning in 4 consecutive starts. He has logged the most innings of any Ranger starter. There's a chopper to first, and Todd Green will have a play in fair territory. And that gets Fables for the second out.
That's a pretty good start. One off the end of the bat to third, another one off the end of the bat right off the end of the bat, cued to first base. 2 weak ground balls, 2 quick outs.
I would think when Kenny Rogers is on the mound, of all the infielders, the one that especially should be busy would be the third baseman Herbert Perry, if Kenny can get the right-hand batters to roll over on his sinker down and away.
Well, that pretty much has been what's made Kenny consistently successful over his career, Vince, is I think his ability to do just that. The last couple of years, that's about the only type pitch he's been able to throw. Something away, a sinker away, a changeup away. But now he's got a little bit extra on his fastball that he can throw into the right-hand hitters, make him a little bit more honest. And of course, he's still got a good curveball.
Last night's hero, Carlos Beltran, has been a hero several times already against the Rangers this year. He has 8 home runs, as you just saw, and 4 of those in 4 games have come against Texas, including 2 last night with a grand slam and the game-winning blow in the 11th against the Rabu. Kenny behind here, 3 balls and no strikes. Kenny not one to give in, but also not one to want to walk many batters, although he did have 4 walks in his last start against Minnesota. The 3-0 pitch. Got him to chase it. And again, Kenny, even though it's 3-0, you can't expect that you're going to get something right down the middle to get a strike in there. Rogers snapped a 5-game losing streak for the Rangers on their longest road trip of the year when he won the game against Minnesota on May 22nd. Beltran takes the walk this time. Since that time, the Rangers have won only 1 other game, and that was the Wednesday game against Minnesota. So Beltran aboard, he can run, but the Rangers are armed with the best move on the staff, with Kenny Rogers out there, who has not allowed a stolen base this year. And now Mike Sweeney will bat.
Well, Kenny has always been the kind of guy who takes great pride in every facet of his game. When he gets to hit, he works on his hitting. That's not very often in the American League, but he takes a great deal of pride in his defense too. He practices fielding balls back to the mound, throwing to the bases, and he practices his pickoff move. He varies his delivery to the plate. He's got 2 or 3 different deliveries. His slide step that he speeds it up, his normal delivery to the plate, anything to confuse the runner so that they can't get a good jump. Pitchers that do that give themselves a better chance to win the ball game. You can keep the runners close at first base. They don't steal. Not only that, sometimes they don't go first to third on a single. They don't score from first on a double because of your ability to keep them close to the bag. So there's little things that can add up.
Well, Mike Sweeney down on the count, 0-2. Sweeney's second in the league in hitting behind Ichiro, 20 points behind the Mariners right fielder, batting at .342. Didn't seem very happy early on with John Shulock's strike zone tonight, and backed off with a cutter inside. It's 1-2. Here's your home plate umpire, the veteran John Shulock. Just recently had a bit of a run-in with Lou Piniella in Tampa Bay. He threw him out of a game, and John was behind the plate.
Lou piled dirt on the home plate, and John would not wipe it off. Dan Wilson, the catcher, tried to wipe it off with his foot, couldn't get it all, so John Shulock handed him his broom. Wilson grabbed the broom, the sweeper, swept it off, gave it back to Shulock, and play resumed. But John said if Pinella's going to put it there, someone else is taking it off, not me.
2-2 pitch. That misses inside as well. Now Kenny has run the count full, and that'll put Beltran in motion from first base. Shulock has been a major league umpire since 1979. And the most recent World Series that he worked was 1992. Last year he worked the league championship series. Payoff pitch with Beltran going, and it is just foul. Mike Sweeney just helped out Kenny Rogers, chasing a pitch off the plate. We talked last night on how the Royals are a team that just does not strike out. Fewest strikeouts in the league against Ismael Valdez and 6 relievers. They struck out only 4 times last night, and that was in 11 innings. They do try to put the bat on the ball. Beltran draws a throw over to first. Kenny not wanting to allow him to get the extra lead in case Sweeney could find a gap or send one down the line, and the Royals attempt to score an early first inning run. Beltran a late start, and the pitch grounded through the right side for a hit. Beltran will continue on to third base. Gonzalez brings the ball in, so Kenny stayed away and Sweeney went with it and keeps the inning going for Joe Randa.
And as a right-hand hitter, that's pretty much what you need to do against Kenny. He throws a lot of pitches away, and if you try to pull it, you play right into his hand. Sweeney is a solid hitter, second in the league as a matter of fact, hitting .342. He hits the ball where it's pitched. He's not a dead pull hitter. He can drive the ball to all fields.
And now here's Joe Randa, who did the same thing last night with 3 hits and 4 at-bats, including a home run as part of that back-to-back-to-back barrage in the 11th inning against Hideki Irabu. He takes ball 1 outside. Randa's been on a hot streak. 3 homers and a dozen RBIs in his last 18 games. Starting to get heated up again. Always a consistent producer for Kansas City. The curveball slipped out of Kenny's hand. And now Bill Hasselman will pay a visit. We haven't really seen Kenny use the curveball very much early in games, but tonight he seems to want to feature it and having trouble commanding it where he would like it. Hoping a new baseball might do the trick. He's asking for a new one from John Shulock. Texas trying to find a way to get some momentum going. Last night they had a large lead in the 7th inning. It got away from them and still managed to rally back to tie it in the 9th. Had the winning run at the plate in the 11th, but still couldn't take it over the top. Or the tying run at the plate in the 11th, I should say. Mike Sweeney hit one of those home runs last night as well. It was his 9th of the year. A good sinker to the outside corner.
When you think of last night's ball game, it was topsy-turvy affair. There's no doubt about that. But the Rangers had their chances before it ever got to the point where the Royals hit the 3 home runs. They had a man on third base and 1 out. They had men on first and second and 1 out. Just a little bit before that, but were unable to push it across.
It's a ground ball to Herbert Perry. He'll go the short way, and Kenny avoids trouble in the 1st inning. A hit, but 2 men left for Kansas City. The Rangers will come batting against the left-hander Darrell May, and A-Rod with 2 homers last night will bat 3rd in the Ranger 1st. Left-hander Darrell May, who has spent the last several years pitching in Japan, going to work against the Rangers for the 2nd time. And here's the Southwest Airlines starting lineup he will face tonight. Calvin Murray will lead things off for Texas. He is the 7th different leadoff man this year for the Rangers. A 9-game hitting streak for Herbert Perry, who'll bat 2nd. Then Alex Rodriguez hitting 3rd. Rafael Palmeiro, the DH once again. Juan Gonzalez, Todd Green at 1st. Gabe Kapler in left. Bill Hasselman is catching, and Michael Young is behind the plate. Darrell May pitched into the 5th inning his last time against Texas. Not overpowering. He lives in the Austin area now. He's 29 years of age. And quickly ahead of Murray, nothing in 2. Calvin joining what is becoming a growing list of leadoff men as we see the numbers on May.
And May spent the last 4 years in Japan, where he pitched very well. 89 starts, 32 and 31 with a .367 earned run average over there. Almost a strikeout per inning. 9 walks in 14 2/3.
The reason he hasn't thrown very many innings is the fact that he started the year on the DL with a groin injury. Has to throw a cutter under the hands of Calvin Murray. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. See Calvin's numbers. When he first joined the Rangers from the Giants, got out to a fast start, but he has since cooled off. Trying to use his speed here. Perez will have to hurry the throw, and does so to get Calvin for the 1st out. Let's take a look at the Royals defense now. Kansas City, 45 double plays this year, including 2 last night. Mike Sweeney at 1st and Carlos Fables at 2nd. Joe Randa, the 3rd baseman, and Nathie Perez at short. In the outfield, Donnie Sadler at left, Carlos Beltran at center, Mark Quinn in right, and A.J. Hinch behind the plate. Now Perry will bat. And takes ball 1 down. Perry's 9-game hitting streak has helped bolster his season numbers, which have moved up to 321. Batting in this #2 spot for the 3rd consecutive game. Oh, good changeup away from May to even the count. Now May has big league experience. He pitched for Atlanta in '95, originally property of the Braves from 1992. Also pitched for Pittsburgh in '96. Most recently Anaheim in '97. That ball's hit well toward deep left center field. Sadler giving chase toward the wall. It is gone. Well, that's the way to extend a hitting streak. Herbert Perry jumps on Darrell May, and the Rangers have an early 1-0 lead.
Well, Herbert Perry continues to get the job done with the bat. Came into the game hitting over .320. That's his 6th home run. He puts the good part of the bat on the ball on a consistent basis.
Got a good bat night crowd on hand this evening, and they enjoyed Herbert using his bat there.
He got a pitch right down the middle of the plate, it looked like. He knows that's got a chance, but he's not sure if it's going out.
6th home run of the year for him. Here's the majors' leading RBI man, and Alex Rodriguez. 2 home runs last night for the 4th time this year. And 4 RBIs. No one has even got 50 aside from Alex in the RBI column. And it is 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Herbert Perry with a 403-foot blast connects on his 6th home run of the year. He's hit as many as 12 in a season. That's a career high for him. And it came when he got a lot of playing time with the White Sox in 2000, which is certainly his best major league season production wise. 1-2 to Alex. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Darrell May signed as a free agent, spurning some major dollars to stay in Japan. He wanted to come back to the United States. His family wanted to settle in Austin. They wanted to start a family, and that's where they have picked. Backdoor slider, and down goes A-Rod. So 2 outs, and Rafael Palmeiro will bat after this tough pitch.
Well located, had Alex out in front of it.
This is the 4th start of the year for May as he faces Palmeiro. Raffy with 3 hits last night, all singles. We had talked last night that maybe Kenny Rogers was going to be a pinch runner for Raffy in the 10th inning, but in fact it would have been Rob Bell had the circumstances been correct, representing the only runner on base. Rob Bell was the one that was loosening up. Rob will open up the road trip for Texas on Monday night against the Anaheim Angels.
They're just using Kenny as a decoy.
Well, Kenny,
Rob was underneath evidently, so they couldn't see him.
Apparently Jerry Narron said that he was stretching to play the outfield.
Well, he can do that.
He can.
He can shag.
But it also got him in trouble. Shagging is what got him that hip flexor injury earlier this year.
That's right.
He also told us that he was retiring from shagging. Maybe not. Raffy will get another crack. Still 0-2 at the plate. Raffy DHing now for the 10th consecutive game. All ground ball outs for Kenny in the top of the 1st inning. Palmeiro has almost as many walks as strikeouts. He's appeared in all but the 6 of the Ranger games. There's a weak tapper to the mound. May will have plenty of time, and he'll get Palmeiro to end the inning. But Herbert Perry provides the blast, a long drive to deep left center field. The Rangers are on the board, 1-0. Herbert Perry's home run giving Texas a 1-0 lead as we start the 2nd inning. Herbert's solo shot. Now a 10-game hitting streak for him, and Kenny facing Mark Quinn, who chops one on 2 bounces to A-Rod. Over to first. And there is 1 out. Kenny Rogers before tonight's game talked about how the Rangers can find a way to rebound against these Royals.
I think for us as a team, we just want to go out there and play better. I don't think we played with any inspiration last time we went out there and pretty much embarrassed ourselves against Kansas City and Detroit. So we're looking to play a lot better, and as a starting staff, myself included, go out there and give quality starts as deep as we can in the game and give this team a chance to score some runs.
Well, the Rangers' earned run average has dipped to 12th in the league now at 5.02. But Tom, with Kenny Rogers out there, you feel like there's a chance that number can drop down a little bit, and he can pitch deep into the game like he's done successfully this year.
Yeah, there's no reason to believe that that's not the case. Kansas City has not hit that well against him in the past. They don't have many guys in their lineup tonight with impressive numbers against Kenny. And he's a better pitcher right now than he has been for a lot of those at-bats that they do have.
Ball mishit by the former Ranger Luis Alicea.
Kenny lost his last start to Minnesota 5-2. He pitched 7 innings. Kind of a typical outing, only 7 hits and 3 earned runs. He did walk 4 in that game, though. That wasn't typical of Kenny. Gave up a 2-run homer to Torrey Hunter in that ball game.
Trying for his 6th win of the year. Just missed that outside corner.
Been really tough on left-hand hitters. Left-hand hitters are only hitting 176 against Kenny this year. Kansas City has none in the lineup tonight, however.
Here's a strike.
Come on back, Louis.
Louis thought that pitch was low. And we'll get another look at it.
It was low, but I don't know if it was too low. Well, it's right there, right across the knees. That's where it goes by the hitter. By the plate, I mean.
Michael Young has a chance. Gets in front of it nicely and on to Todd Green for the out. Nice comeback for Rogers in that plate appearance against Alicea. As the Rangers head into the month of June tonight, at this time a year ago, Kenny was 3-3. But a higher earned run average, well over 5. He's at 3.10 as play begins tonight. And that is 9th best in the league. And throws a first pitch strike to A.J. Hinch. And he is the 2nd best left-hander, one of only 2 left-handers in the league's top 10, along with Mark Burley. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Stanford product, A.J. Hinch, originally property of the Oakland Athletics. That one's hit. Oh, what a pick by Michael Young. Hit hard to his right. Stayed with it, got it on the backhand side, and gives Kenny Rogers a 1-2-3 second. Michael Young struggling with the bat, but he hasn't forgotten his glove. On to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Rangers. Tony Peña's team down 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second, with this reminder that the Rangers battle the Royals again tomorrow at 2:05, and the first 25,000 fans will receive a ticket for NASCAR Truck Series qualifying at the Texas Motor Speedway. For tickets, call 817-273-5100. Those kids like monster trucks, or the really fast trucks. Look like fast truck kind of kids. Here's Juan, starting to put some things together. He's got a 6-game hitting streak now. Drove in a run last night with a RBI double in the 3rd inning. Facing Darryl May. Sitting on 399 home runs. The hits have been coming, Tom. It's just a matter of time before the RBIs are right behind it. Maybe some more home runs.
No doubt about that. Just like we were talking earlier about how Alex got off to a slow start. He said the same thing. Don't worry. When they come in bunches, and before you know it, you have a week where you knock in 14 or 15 runs and you're right back where you want to be. You look at Juan with 3 RBIs and over 70 at-bats. That is very unusual.
He hammers that one to deep left. Sadler goes back, jumps, he can't get it. Caroms back toward the infield, and Juan stands at second with a double. It's his 6th double. He's got a 7-game hitting streak and Tag, you talked about getting that front foot down. I think he got the front foot down there.
I think he did. He hit that ball pretty well. One of the things that's hurt Juan as far as RBIs go, you see the leg kick and getting that leg down early, as the guys in front of him tend to clear the bases a little bit, A-Rod and Rafi. And over the last week, Rafi has been playing with a very bad leg, so he hasn't been running very well. And so it's been difficult for him to score from first base on a double or from second base on a single.
Now Todd Green at the plate for Texas. And they floated that changeup off the plate outside. Todd was behind the plate in last night's game. He went 1 for 4. Had a second inning single. And then came out of the game in the 9th inning when Rusty Greer pinch hit for him and provided some drama for Texas with a game-tying double. But Todd, with good offensive numbers, contributing to Texas. He does like to swing the bat. He's appearing in only his 8th game for the Rangers. Began the season in the Yankees spring training camp. Did not make their club, signed with the Dodgers, and had some impressive numbers at AAA Las Vegas and an out in his contract that allowed him to pursue major league opportunities, and the Rangers had one. Missed that pitch, and it's 1-2. And the thought is, when you come to a ball club as a backup catcher, and Pudge Rodriguez is the primary catcher, although he's injured, it seems like Pudge is on course to come back in the very near future. I think Todd's proven that his bat's going to keep him around, and they're going to find positions for him to play. Maybe not catch again, but he can play some first base. He certainly can be your right-handed DH, and it'd be nice to have that kind of thump available off your bench.
Yeah, you like to have a guy like Todd coming off the bench because he's a very aggressive hitter. He goes up there swinging. And I think that's one thing that's a hallmark of a good pinch hitter. You don't see many pinch hitters who will go up there and take a strike and work the count. That's great if you're playing every day, but as a pinch hitter, you got to go up and get 3 swings coming up cold off the bench, and Todd's not going to get cheated. I remember Bill Stein, great Ranger pinch hitter, was that way. Just walk up off the bench, first thing you see that's good, take a hack at it. Make sure you get 3 good swings. He's definitely that kind of guy.
Darrell May having a brief meeting with his catcher A.J. Hinch. Texas with that 1-0 lead on the long ball, but a man at second base and nobody out, and maybe May feeling the large shadow cast at second base by Juan Gonzalez. Broken bat up the middle. It's going to get through. Gonzalez will come around and he will score. Todd Green delivers his 5th run batted in of the year. Down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. And it's 2-0 Texas.
Oh, good job of hitting with 2 strikes by Todd. He had swung and missed at a changeup earlier in the count. He was way out in front of it. He was trying to hit the ball up the middle that time, not trying to hit the ball to left field, not trying to pull it out of the ballpark. And he stroked it past fadeless up the middle for an RBI. He was able to wait on the changeup long enough, hit it toward the end of the bat, but still well enough to get the RBI and hit the ball up the middle.
Now Gabe Kapler. He takes a pitch down low. Gabe has been in the leadoff spot for the Rangers. In fact, last night was his 4th consecutive game batting in the #1 position. He went 1 for 6 with a double. Still in search of getting that goose egg off the home run column. Maybe tonight will be the night. Fouls that pitch off, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. So Texas with an early 2-0 lead. They've scored in each of the first 2 innings against May. May pitched in game 2 of the doubleheader last Sunday and was knocked out of the 5th inning, allowed 4 runs on 8 hits. Texas hit 4 home runs in the game and still lost. As Corey Bailey got the win, and Doug Davis struggled in that game. It was his last outing for the Rangers before he was sent back to AAA, and he is pitching tonight for the Oklahoma Redhawks.
The other thing they did last night, Vince, is they turned 2 pretty amazing double plays. Man on first, base hit to right, turned that into a double play. First and second, bunt situation, turned that into a double play later on. They had a lot of things go right for them during the ball game, but still weren't able to win the ball game.
Dave took some early batting practice again today. We'll snap throw over to first. I know we've talked about this on many occasions, but with Kapler, he just continues to try to grind it out. And while disappointed that he doesn't have the home run, it doesn't take away from trying to help the club in as many ways as possible. Now, he had 17 home runs last year for Texas. He had 7 by the end of May. He's gone through stretches in the past where he's been inconsistent with the offense. Sends this one in the air to right, but Quinn will have a play. That's the first out of the inning, and now our first opportunity to say hello to Jim Knox here at the ballpark.
Okay, thank you, Vince. Guess who's back in Arlington? It's Frank Catalanato. Had a chance to catch up with him. He's back from that extended spring training where he's trying to rehab the bat, but re-aggravated it, and Frank says he's not exactly sure when it will return.
I took a step back going down to Port Charlotte, and I kind of re-injured it. I got an injection today, and they say that with this injection should knock out the inflammation in there. They got right to the spot, and within the next couple of days, I should be feeling better. So, we'll just take it day by day and see what happens.
So we will see what happens. In the meantime, he will not accompany the team to Anaheim. He will stay here at the ballpark and continue rehab starting Monday.
All right, Jim, thanks. At least he's continuing on the comeback trail. But the Rangers were hoping that he would have been back this weekend. That was what they had their designs on, and he certainly is sorely missed. He's sitting in the dugout as we saw tonight, but he says he can't sit very long. He has to get up and kind of walk around, and even when he stands for a while, he has to then go back and sit down. He has no activities for the next 48 hours to let that injection hopefully do its work and allow him to get back rehabbing and hopefully back on the field. 2 strikes to Hasselman. May's pitch just missed the outside corner.
I hate to have any key guys out of the lineup. I think from the Rangers standpoint, though, when you look at the time Catalanato has been out of the lineup, tried a lot of different guys in the leadoff spot. And boy, the setup guys for the big guys in the middle of the lineup are so important. It starts with a leadoff hitter, and Frank has done a great job the last couple of years as a leadoff hitter, and they miss him.
Sweeney will have a play in front of the Ranger dugout that retires Hasselman for the second out. Coming up next, it's the Southwest Sports Report. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to teams throughout the Southwest. Tonight, you'll see some College World Series highlights as that continues. The Desperados are on the West Coast. And a wrap-up of tonight's Rangers game. For extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews, catch the show that was voted the best sportscast in Texas by the Texas Associated Press broadcasters, the Southwest Sports Report, immediately after our game, only on Fox Sports Net. Michael Young at the plate. And maybe tonight's the night that Michael can get the bat going again. He has had success against lefties. Even though he's 0 for his last 19, Michael is batting almost .350 against left-handed pitching this year. And he sure could use a couple of hits. You see the average is really taking a tumble with that 0 for 19. And even further than that, 2 for his last 34. Jerry Naron before the game today said the guys that are not starting in tonight's game, Carl Everett, Rusty Greer, Mike Lamb, and Jason Romano, should get an opportunity to play somewhere on the field. And you wonder if Jerry's thinking about giving Michael Young Sunday off. Pitching the dirt, kept in front by Hinch. And it's interesting because Jerry said, Tom, I hope Michael gets 2 or 3 hits, hits the ball hard tonight so I can rest him tomorrow, as opposed to the thinking he's got a couple of hits, let him play again tomorrow, but have him sit and have good thoughts about the way his last game went.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. If he doesn't get any hits tonight, the hitless streak continues, and maybe there's pressure to play him tomorrow to get something going. But it is an interesting thought to end with something positive tonight and relax and enjoy the off day tomorrow, knowing that you've started to get something going again.
We've already seen again tonight what he has provided even without his bat, as he made that sparkling play on Luis Alicea in the top of the inning. And the same on A.J. Hinch with the ball hard to his right. He'll take the walk. And the inning continues. 2-on now for Calvin Murray. Even though Michael has been suffering through an offer, he has had some walks along the way, although not many. Only his 13th of the year. And now Murray will bat. He grounded out the shortstop to start the game, getting his first start since May 19th on the road against the Tigers at Comerica Park. That pitch is high, and once again A.J. Hinch wants to go out to the mound and have a conversation with Darryl May. Here's the W.T. White grad from the University of Texas. I'm sure he has an interest in those College World Series highlights. Calvin, when he joined the Rangers, he had hits in 5 of his first 6 games and was really contributing in a hurry. The 1-0. It's low. 2 balls and no strikes. This is Calvin's first chance to bat leadoff for Texas this year. He's hit 9th every other time. The count in his favor. They didn't like that pitch where it's located on the outside part of the plate. Texas has been relying on A-Rod and Raffy and Juan. Like to see some of the other guys, and Herbert Perry's done well also, who's in the on-deck circle, but it really would go a long way if some of the other players, particularly those not getting a chance to play much like Calvin Murray, who feel like he can contribute tonight. Bouncing ball to third. Rand has got it. He'll go the short way, and the inning is over. But the Rangers get a run as Juan Gonzalez scored, and Kenny Rogers goes to the hill in the third now with a 2-0 lead.
Yet today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I have been in ballparks for 17 years and never received anything but kindness and encouragement from you fans. Look at these grand men. Which one of you wouldn't consider it the highlight of his career just to associate with them for even one day? Sure, I'm lucky. Who wouldn't consider it an honor to have known Jacob Ruppert? Also the builder of baseball's greatest empire, Ed Barrow. To have spent 6 years with that wonderful little fellow, Miller Huggins. Then to have spent the next 9 years with that outstanding leader, that smart student of psychology, the best manager in baseball today, Joe McCarthy.
Well, you just get goosebumps hearing that. The Rangers leading 2-0 and Kenny Rogers going to work. Donnie Sadler fouls the pitch off, and the man who was on the field before today's game as part of the Project ALS Day, Billy Baldwin, joins us now in the booth. Welcome back to Texas.
Thanks for having me, Vince, Tom.
What was it like reading those words?
You know, I've rehearsed it a few times over the last couple of days, and every time I get chills down my spine. Every time I get to the part about the groundskeepers and those boys in white coats giving them trophies, my eyes welled up with tears. You know, beautiful, powerful words.
Michael Young has that play, and there's one out. The Project ALS is something that's gone on through all of Major League Baseball parks today. Celebrities all over baseball have been given the opportunity to read Lou Gehrig's famous speech. Part of Lou Gehrig Day. He died. He gave the speech on July 4th, but tomorrow is the anniversary of his death, and that is why it's happening today with a celebration of a great life and a great man, and I know for you a great cause.
Yeah, my friend Jennifer Estes was stricken with ALS a few years ago. She's a New York theater producer. We formed this organization around her with a lot of support from the entertainment community, a lot of resources from the entertainment industry. We have Brooke Shields in San Francisco, Matt Dillon in Miami, James Gandolfini in the Bronx. We have John Goodman in St. Louis. It's a real good group.
Now Nathy Perez at the plate. Now you're one of the acting Baldwin brothers. There's 4 of you guys, so I would imagine there were, you know, on Long Island there had to be some ball games in the backyard, and you guys were Mickey, and somebody was Roger, and somebody was Bobby Richardson, or
Yankees home. That's what my brother would yell as he ran out the front door to the driveway when we played stickball or wiffle ball. He was always the Yankees, and he was always the home team.
stick ball. I haven't heard that said in a long time.
Oh yeah, we used to play, you know, sewer cat ball. My father was born and raised in Brooklyn, and he was an usher at Ebbets Field when he was in high school.
So baseball, I mean, coming out and reading this is one thing, but baseball has been in your blood. I mean, you get a kick out of being at the ballpark.
Oh, I've been going to the park my whole life. I go to quite a few Yankee games every year. I name my dog Thurman. You might imagine why.
Oh, I got you on that.
And I got a buddy named Georgie McPhee. He named his son Garrig, and he named his daughter Ruth.
Now, I was told you're always supposed to carry a religious article with you at all times in case that something bad happens to you. And he goes wherever I go. Thurman Munson.
That really says a lot about you.
That's like
that's all I need to know.
That's like the amazing Kreskin. How'd you know he was going to say Thurman
I had
Munson?
no idea, but Thurman goes where I go.
My friend just gave me his baseball card collection. He gave me a Thurman Munson card the other day. He had like 10 of them. He gave me one of those cards.
I've got a couple at home. Well, my wife did this for me many years ago. She's trying to protect me, I guess. Fabulous shows bunt, drops it. It is a foul ball. 2 outs in the inning here. We're visiting with Billy Baldwin. You've got some projects going on, I would imagine. Actors don't really rest a whole lot, do they? Well, what's coming out?
I did a picture called One-Eyed King. It comes out in September, October with Chaz Palminteri and Armand Asante and Bruno Kirby. And I'm about to start another film, actually, I believe in a couple of months with another board member on Project ALS, an actor named Jace Alexander is going to direct me in a film where he's coming down to Dallas to location scout. If we're down here in August, I'm going to come and see you guys. We're supposed to be shooting in Texas.
Great.
Yeah.
The door is always open.
Billy, ALS is not your only cause. You're very active in a lot of social causes. What are some of the other ones that you're closely involved in?
Well, I serve on the board of Rock the Vote, and I serve on the board of my mother's breast cancer foundation. And also, I run an organization called the Creative Coalition. It's a social and political advocacy group comprised of show business writers, directors, producers, actors.
Billy Baldwin with us. We'll come back with more as we head to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Texas.
When you have a wife who has been a tower of strength and shown more courage than you dreamed existed, that's the finest I know. So I close in saying that I may have had a tough break, but I have an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
Billy Baldwin concluding the speech on Lou Gehrig Day. All around baseball today, part of Project ALS, and it is a project that's raised $9 million for research. And you know, Billy, I've come in contact with somebody that's been afflicted by the disease, and I think unfortunately so many people will be surprised to learn that they do come in contact with folks. I knew a gentleman out in Arizona, Jerry Kindle, who's a coach at the University of Arizona, that was afflicted with that terrible disease.
Well, the interesting thing about the research that we're funding is that 50 million plus Americans, there's only 30,000 people that have ALS, but 50 million Americans have Huntington's, Parkinson's, Alzheimer, MS, and ALS. And 50 million are directly afflicted. Virtually the entire population of the country are indirectly affected because we all know someone who has Alzheimer, who has Parkinson's. So if there's a breakthrough in the research that's funded by Michael Fox or by Christopher Reeve, the same type of research with the Christopher Reeve Paralysis Foundation or Project ALS, it could really have a direct impact on the entire population of the country.
Herbert Perry out on strikes to start the bottom of the third inning. Now you came into town. How long can we keep you in Texas this time?
My wife is recording an album in LA, and she's holding down the fort with the 2 kids, so I'm just going to stay for the weekend. I'm going to spend the day tomorrow and go back either tomorrow night or Monday morning early.
Great.
But I may be shooting that picture here. I'll know in about 2 weeks if we're shooting here or in Alabama. I think we're going to be here. The director's coming to location scout. I think we're going to be here for the month of August and September.
Now, is this the first sports-themed movie that you've been a part of?
Are you talking about the one we talked about off the air?
Right.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about it. I was offered to play the part of Joe Namath. They're pulling the financing together, and they're pulling the script together. It's not a definite go. Whoa, there's a rope. But that would be the first. I'm so envious of all these guys to get, Dennis Quaid and Kevin Costner and all those guys. I was actually a wrestler, believe it or not. I wrestled in high school and college, and not the type of sport that when you're done, you're done,
And also, I mean, we've talked about the causes that you've been involved in. As a political science major, I think you proved pretty early on that you weren't just the guy that was going to, while acting has provided you with opportunities to do things, you take advantage of those opportunities based on some of your background, in your earlier days. I mean, you want to be active. You want to be proactive.
Oh, yeah, I was an activist before I became an actor. It wasn't like I usually say I was an activist who became an actor rather than an actor who became an activist.
Now, we've talked about Project ALS raising $9 million. We've got folks watching the game tonight. How can people get involved in this project and try to help?
Well, we have, anybody on the the World Wide Web, on the internet can hit www.projectals.org, and you can find out all the information about the organization, and also the 800 number, which let's see if we have it here. Do we have it?
Let's see.
I'll give you another number.
I see it.
Yeah, 800-600-0990 or www.projectals.org to find out more about the organization and the work that they're doing.
It's great that baseball has gotten involved in this, the way that it's all tied together, but to get the word out again, and I think it's been a wonderful day throughout Major League Baseball that all the celebrities have allowed this to be a part of their cause. Palmero's sends one out to deep center, but Beltran will be there. Billy, we sure do appreciate you coming on out. Best of luck with everything.
Maybe I'll see you in August.
We'll be here. We hope you are too.
I'll come back. Thank
Billy
you.
Baldwin joining us tonight. We've got 3 innings in the books, and the Rangers have a 2-0 lead. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. And by your Texas Dodge dealers. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns. Kenny Rogers has a 2-0 lead as we start the 4th inning. Facing Carlos Beltran. You see the line score there. The Rangers getting a home run in the 1st and an RBI single in the 2nd from Herbert Perry and Todd Green. It's a chopper left side. Good charging play by Herbert on the run. Gets Beltran for the out. And we finally decided to really class up the joint. First, we've had Billy Baldwin tonight, Project ALS, and now one of the longtime voices of the Rangers. He's been around baseball since there's been baseball. We're happy you're up in the booth. Merle Harmon, welcome back.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you very much. It's good to be with you and Tom. I follow you guys every day, every night. Whenever you're on the air, I'm with you.
Well, we appreciate that.
There have been some nights where we could have used your help,
Well, I tried to help you last night, but nobody would pay any attention to me.
Oh, Sweeney hit that ball hard. Calvin Murray on the run, and he will get there. No substitute for speed, and Calvin Murray went back on that hard hit ball by Mike Sweeney for the 2nd out.
What do you think of the present day game, Merle? When you think of all your years in baseball and what you see now with the long ball and the added offense, what are your thoughts on that?
Tom, I'm so happy that I had an opportunity to, go through various eras, starting out in the major leagues when we traveled by train mostly. Then we started flying, and then we went to 10 teams in the league, and then we, finally wind up with playing interleague baseball, which I think is good, by the way. But lots of things to take care of right now, though.
What were the train rides like? They say that the teams bonded more in those days on the trains.
They really did, Tom, because we had private cars. We had our own dining car. And after, you go from the car into the dining car. And foul ball out of play.
Todd,
take it away.
Todd Green made the play. Merle Harmon's with us, and we're going to hear some stories. You can bet on that. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Texas leading it by a score of 2-0.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Aflac Insurance. Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. Quack, quack.
Vince, we might as well
Good night,
leave.
everybody.
We might as well leave now.
We'll see you next time. Boy, talk about riding a bike.
I should have brought my quacker.
Well, listening to that, Merle, brings back a lot of great memories for a lot of people listening and for both Vince and me as well.
No question about it.
Oh, you guys are so kind.
Juan Gonzalez with a double and a run scored in the second. Merle is with us. His wife Jeanette is upstairs, and Bruce is man in the camera right behind home plate for us. It is a family night here at the ballpark, and couldn't be better.
Well, we had a great time at the cookout.
There they are.
Prior to the game. I'm going to come out here more often. I save a lot of grocery money, you know.
Evidently, there's some pretty good food out there at the cookout.
Boy, where were you guys?
Well,
I showed up early.
I begged off because of the heat. I'm a wimp.
High in the air on the infield, and Perez and Fabulous. It'll be Fabulous making the catch, and there's one out. Let's take it to the Aflac trivia question tonight, brought to you by Aflac Insurance. Who led the Rangers in batting average and triples for the 2000 season? No, it wasn't Ducky Medwick. But we'll have the answer for you later. Todd Green singled his first time up. It's this one high in the air. We're trying to talk to Merle, and everybody's swinging at the first pitch.
Every time we want to speed the game up, we'll bring Merle on. We could have used you last night.
Yeah, that's
an interesting point. I mean, you remember when things began to change, where games that were going 2 hours and 12 minutes on a consistent basis suddenly went to 2:30, went to 2:45, to 3, and beyond?
Vince had a game in Chicago one time, the old Kansas City A's and the White Sox, an hour and 39 minutes. Billy Pierce pitching for Chicago. I know Tom remembers him.
Yeah.
And Art Ditmar pitched for Kansas City, and it was about 35 degrees. Everybody was swinging at the first pitch.
Art Ditmar went to Pittsfield High School.
Yeah,
where I went to high school. So I'm very familiar with him.
Yeah, I think he retired as a school superintendent down in the Carolinas or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Merle knows everybody. There's no question about that. How many books did you write?
Just one.
Just the one, the book on all the great stories?
Yeah, that's just one.
That's one more than Vince and I did.
That's right.
And one more than I will write.
We were out in Vegas. In fact, we just got back last night. We went to see this entertainer, Clint Holmes, and he is really a great entertainer, great singer, great voice. Had one hit in his life, and he's been at it about 35 years.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gabe Kapler. Do you enjoy today's game?
Yeah, I do. I'm not kidding you. I watch you guys. If you're on the West Coast and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm with you.
Wow.
Sometimes I go from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, I love baseball and I love to watch, and I just won't give up on it. But you know, Tom, you're talking about baseball's problems. You know, we all say they got to solve this thing, but the question is, who's going to make the first move? Somebody has to make the first move.
It's almost like you need some kind of deadline in order to get them to bump up against the deadline to really negotiate.
What would happen if all these clubs are losing money? And I believe a lot of clubs are losing money. I don't care what Forbes says, but what if they all went bankrupt? There'd be a lot of ball players out there looking for jobs.
There sure would.
Gabe Kapler caught looking, and that ends the 4th inning for Texas. Merle Harmon, thanks for stopping on by. The door is always open.
Thank you, Vince. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome, Merle. Thanks for coming.
We're going to the 5th inning. Texas still in front, 2-0. As we head to the 5th inning, Texas leading 2-0 against the Royals. Let's give you our Jack in the Box standings. And tonight we'll feature the American League West as we head into the month of June after the pitch to Mark Quinn, who surprisingly swung at the first one. And Gabe Kapler over. Does he have a play? Jumps and out of room. Strike 1 on Quinn, who's 0 for 1 tonight. Now those Jack in the Box standings. And the Mariners in front. Maybe the surprise that Anaheim is the team at second place, 3 games back. Oakland under 500. They've made a lot of changes, 9 back. And the Rangers 10 games under 500 and 12.5 off the pace. Hoping to try to reverse much of that. And Kenny Rogers trying to get the month of June off to a good start. The Rangers ended May 11-16. 1 strike to Quinn. That one hit toward Michael Young. He'll play that one off to his side, and That retires Quinn for the out. Well, we had the Aflac trivia question before, and now let's give you the answer. And who led the Rangers in batting average and triples for the 2000 season? It was the former Ranger, now playing for the Royals, Luis Alicea. He hit .294, had 8 triples for Texas that year. It was his best offensive season in his career. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's the DH for Tony Peña's club. Alicea, 36 years of age, in his 12th big league season. Former #1 pick out of Florida State by the Cardinals. He has not had success against Kenny Rogers in his career at all. Just 1 for 17 against Kenny. He's had only 9 at-bats this year right-handed. Changeup off the plate. Luis Alicea finding out, along with the extra guys like Donnie Sadler, getting Raul Ibanez getting chances to play a little more under Tony Peña's system. That one bounced to Perry on one big hop. Over to Todd Green for the second out. Boy, Kenny really piling up the ground ball outs here and doing a good job of keeping the ball on the infield. There's been only 1 ball hit to the outfield in play all night.
There's only been a couple of balls hit hard. A.J. Hinch hit a one-hop shot that Michael Young made a nice play on. Hit a lot of tappers to the left side. And when you're seeing that, you know Kenny's doing a terrific job of keeping the ball down, changing speeds, tailing it away from the right-hand hitters.
Now the catcher Hinch. Brent Maine caught last night. Changeup disappeared off the plate, down and away. Hinch was the everyday catcher for the Athletics when he played for them in 1998. Caught 120 games. Part of that Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Oakland three-way deal last year. Appeared in 45 games for the Royals last season. 1996 draft pick out of Stanford University. The amateur draft is coming up on Tuesday. Pitch fouled off. We talked about Stanford with Luis Alicea, Florida State. A lot of those great college programs in focus right now at the College World Series. And then there are other players, high school players, that are getting a lot of looks. And Tom, I know your son Tim is a scout in Texas, and he has seen a lot of talent, hasn't he?
Well, Tim says the talent in Texas is just incredible this year, especially high school pitching. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
A 1-2-3 frame for Rogers on a roll. He has retired now a total of 13 straight. On to the bottom of the 5th inning, 2-0 Texas. Well, Bill Hausman once again has done a nice job behind the plate with Kenny Rogers. Texas leading the Royals 2-0. Bill is 0 for 1 tonight, but great news around Pudge Rodriguez. Now 9 for 19 in the 3 extended spring games that he has played, including catching 3 innings today. And he expects to play for Port Charlotte tomorrow on the rehab as he works his way back from the herniated disc, and should be with them through Thursday. What happens after that? Well, that remains to be seen, but the fact that Pudge is out there swinging a bat and now behind the plate reporting no discomfort, that is a positive sign.
Yeah, the Port Charlotte Rangers have a chance to draw more than 50 people tomorrow night if Pudge plays.
There's a bouncer to short. Perez comes around it and over to first in time. You were touching on the high school players.
They were talking about scouting in the state of Texas.
It's the show that's changing the face of sports television. The best damn sports show, period, with host Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. It's the only show that gives you sports commentary, scores, and highlights. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the best damn sports show, period, weeknights at 8 and 11 only on Fox Sports Net.
And the talent that they've got at the high school level, also great, obviously great college programs in the state of Texas. But Tim was talking about his draft list this year had as many as 30 pitchers that he's seen throw between 92 and 96 miles an hour, which is pretty incredible for one state. There's a couple of high school pitchers down in the Houston area. A left-hander that has tuned it up as high as 96 or 97. He'll be in the top 5. And another one on the same team, as a matter of fact, a right-hander with similar kind of statistics. He'll probably be picked somewhere in the first couple of rounds as well. So great talent in the state of Texas. The Houston area is loaded as usual.
Michael Young took a walk his last time. I think you and Josh will be visiting with Grady Fuson tomorrow during the game.
Good. Good. I'm sure Grady will give us a great up-to-date view of the state.
All the scouts have been in town going over the game plan.
Reading between the lines, it seems like a fairly safe bet. The Rangers will take a college player and probably a college pitcher by the sounds of it.
There, all the boards right now point toward a kid named Jeremy Guthrie out of Stanford University, who did not sign with the Pirates last year.
And one thing interesting about this draft, usually there's anywhere between 3 and 5 or 6 players who are the consensus first players in the draft.
Michael Young sends a long drive to deep left center. Beltran back, jumps, can't get it. Michael will stop at second, and he will stop the offer at 19 at-bats. A hard double toward deep left center field.
Well, thank goodness Beltran didn't come up with that, or Michael might wonder if he was ever going to get another hit. Almost drove it out of the ballpark with a 404 sign, and Beltran almost ran it down. It's not a real high fly ball, so Beltran doesn't have a lot of time, but he times it and almost made a great catch.
Well, Michael in scoring position. That ends a string of consecutive outs. Also for Darryl May, he had retired 8 Rangers in a row. Kenny Rogers has taken it one step further. He's retired 13 in a row as Calvin Murray bats.
Just finishing that thought, 5 or 6 that are consensus top 4 or 5 picks. This year it doesn't seem like that's the case. So if you're picking 10th, there might not be a lot of difference between the 10th pick and the 3rd or 4th pick. It seems like there's a large group of players that are all about the same in ability. It's just a matter of personal preference. The Rangers should get a pretty good player.
2 strikes now on Calvin, who has hit the ball on the ground twice tonight. He's 0 for 2, getting the start in center field. Rusty Greer on the bench, and the same for Carl Everett tonight.
The team that's really got an opportunity in this draft is the Oakland A's. They've lost 3 or 4 free agents, so they picked up extra draft choices and extra supplemental picks. For 3 of them, they got 2 draft choices, so I think they've got...
I think we got 6 of the first 47 or something like that.
Yeah, 6 or 7 out of the first, probably the first round and a half, so they've got a chance to really make a nice haul. And that's one way a team like Oakland can replenish its organization, is through young players. They've got to keep doing that. When you lose guys like Giambi, Johnny Damon, Jason Isringhausen without much to show for it, it's tough to see how you're going to make up for it. And if they have a good draft, they can make up for it by adding that kind of talent to their minor league system. They've been so good over the years bringing up kids through their minor league system to the big league level, and this draft may help them have another cycle.
0-2 pitch, got Calvin looking. There's Todd Van Poppel. He was a part of a windfall of drafts in 1990 for Oakland. Oakland, they drafted 4 pitchers in the first round, or the first round plus extra picks. And of those 4 pitchers, I believe he's the only one still standing. Kurt Dressendorfer and David Zaccanero, and there was one other one.
Don Peters was the other one. I remember the picture they had on Baseball America, the 4 aces. It looked like Oakland was going to lose a good number of their starting pitchers: Stewart, Welch, Mike Moore, a couple of other guys.
Herbert Perry with a base hit up the middle. That's going to score Michael Young. Quite a night for the Ranger third baseman. He picks up his 2nd RBI this evening after homering in the first, and the Rangers have stretched their lead to 3-0. It just seems like some good fundamental hitting when the Rangers have gotten those opportunities tonight with men in scoring position.
You like to see Herb Perry up there when you have to put the ball in play to knock in a run. I guess you have to put the ball in play to knock in a run. But you like to see him up there in key situations because he does put the ball in play.
Now 2 for 4 with men in scoring position are the Rangers. And the milkman explaining how he got it done, and he's always got a smile on his face. Herbert Perry, a great guy to talk to, from Mayo, Florida. He has been a fun acquisition for Texas this year. Now A-Rod. He hits one hard towards center, a sinking line drive that knuckled somehow into the glove of Carlos Beltran. Alex hit that ball right on the screws, but the young center fielder, he feels it, but he held on. On to the 6th inning, 3-0 Texas. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. After a disappointing extra inning loss last night, Kenny Rogers up to the challenge tonight with a 3-0 lead as he faces Donnie Sadler, who's got about 30 family and friends here tonight. He's 0 for 1 with a ground ball to second. At a Valley Mills High School in the Waco area. Originally drafted by the Boston Red Sox back in 1994. An all-state player. And now down in the count 0-2. The last man to reach base against Kenny was Mike Sweeney with the only hit he has allowed with 2 outs in the 1st inning. He just served one softly in a right in front of Juan Gonzalez. It's been a string of outs since then and only 1 ball to the outfield. He's got Donnie reaching for that one, and it's 0-2. Donnie was on the opening day roster at second base in 1998 for the Red Sox. Had a triple and a home run in a game against the Rangers that year in August. He was acquired from Cincinnati in June of last year. Ended up playing all 3 outfield positions in second, short, and third. Laid off of that tough curveball, and it's 1-2. Visited with Jason Grimsley on the pregame show tonight. Another Texas native from Cleveland and Tarkington High School. It was interesting. Kenny told us on the soundbite during the game about how he thinks the starting pitchers have got to step up in this tough go, and he certainly has raised the bar tonight. Pitches outside, and it is 2-2. Starting pitching has only gone 7 innings in 2 of the last 11 games now for Texas. But Kenny sure seems to be well on his way to going 7 and more tonight.
Well, I think Kenny's right about the starting pitching, but there's a lot of other areas that need to improve as well.
Come to Subway and vote for your favorite Rangers for this season's All-Star game. Subway. Eat fresh.
You look to the one stretch where the Rangers put together some wins, and it really was the bullpen that keyed that stretch. Since that time, the bullpen has not pitched as well. Bullpen has been struggling. The team has been struggling. There's certainly room for the rotation, room for the bullpen. There's room for the offense as well. All areas need to improve.
Kenny handles that one easily and sends the changeup over to Todd Green to retire Sadler to start the 6th inning. Now, there was a time when the Rangers had John Rocker in the 7th, Rudy Cianez in the 8th, and Hideki Irabu in the 9th, all pitching on all cylinders at the same time. Now Rocker's back at AAA. Cianez has struggled with his control, and Irabu seems to be struggling in situations where he is pitching part of one inning and starting the next inning, as was the case again last night.
And during that stretch, Todd Van Poppel also had a string of 9 or 10 scoreless innings, so a number of the guys in the bullpen were going well all at the same time.
Nathy Perez has grounded out twice to Herbert Perry. 3-0 Texas in the 6th inning. That one is outside. And Jerry talked before the game tonight that they are still willing, if the circumstances are right, to put Irabu in a game, let's say in the 8th inning, trying to protect the lead and carry on into the 9th. There's a line drive over Herbert Perry and into left field. Just the 2nd hit allowed by Rogers tonight. And ends an impressive string of outs for Kenny dating all the way back to the 1st inning. 14 consecutive outs comes to a close on the Perez base hit.
Perez gets on top of a high fastball, it looked like. Just sneaks it over Herbert. That's about as high as Herbert can get. He needed about another 6 inches to catch that ball.
We saw Bill Hasselman reaching to the outside part of the plate even though he was set up inside. In the rare times tonight when Kenny's missed his location that poorly. Now Fabulous 0 for 2 tonight, still in search of his first hit against the Rangers this year. It's gone to 0 for 16. Fabulous was a guy who broke in along with Carlos Beltran, and Beltran is waiting in the on-deck circle, where they really had a lot of excitement with these two players going back to 1999. The Dos Carlos, they call them. Really thought that they would provide a lot of fun for Royals fans for a number of years. Well, they're still there. Beltran suffered through an off year 2 seasons ago and bounced back. And Fabulous, he's just had trouble staying healthy. He had knee problems last year. He had a shoulder injury. He dislocated his left pinky in 1999. They just haven't been able to keep him on the field as much as they would like. Could be 2. A-Rod to Young to Green. 6-4-3. It's 2. It is a double play. And the inning comes to a close. Rangers turning it again. As you see A-Rod feeding it. Michael Young's got it. And so does Green. 3-0 Texas. It's time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic, where breakfast is served. Tonight's jackpot is worth $400 plus 2 tickets to a Texas Rangers game and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight the Rangers are hitting for Joyce Rosenbaum from Athens. And if the Rangers hit a grand slam during the inning, Joyce will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Rafael Palmeiro at the plate, followed by Juan Gonzalez and Todd Green. Pretty good start to the Sonic Slam inning. Raffy's fly ball to center field in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2. They've gone with the overshift. 3 infielders on the right side. It worked for them last night on a couple of occasions, but Raffy also managed to muscle one just between Fabulous and Sweeney into right field. The lonely man on the left side is Joe Randa. Good breaking ball away, and that retires Palmeiro for the first out.
Real good hard slider it looked like from May. Perfectly located. See the catcher go out there and he delivers.
Well, for Darrell May, this is his longest outing as a Royal. He's now gone 5 1/3. He had gone 5 twice. Actually, looking at his 6 career starts prior to tonight. But it is his longest in his career. He made starts against San Diego, the Mets, and the Giants, National League, and then against Toronto, at Cleveland twice, and now the 2nd time in a row against the Rangers. And he's got a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Juan Gonzalez, who doubled and scored in the 2nd.
May's featuring some pretty good stuff tonight. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's had a good changeup, an effective fastball. He's thrown some good breaking pitches, and for the most part, he's kept the ball pretty much where he's wanted to.
The Royals, a team giving him an opportunity. We talked about at the outset. Here's a guy that pitched the last 4 years in Japan, and actually led the league he was in last year in strikeouts in Japan. Perez will have that one. And there are 2 outs. Now Todd Green will bat. He pitched for Henshin in '98 and '99, and then the last 2 years he played for basically what is considered the Japanese version of the New York Yankees. He played for the Yomiuri Giants. 12 wins in 2000, 10 wins in 2001. 168 strikeouts last year, pitching in the Tokyo Dome. Sold out crowds every night for that team. Todd Green hits one weakly to short, and Darrell May will have himself a 1-2-3 inning. But the Rangers have scored 3 times tonight in 3 different innings. Mike Sweeney will bat second when we go to the 7th against Kenny Rogers. Texas leading 3-0. Kenny Rogers spinning a 2-hitter, leading 3-0 as we go to the 7th inning. And speaking of Kenny, he will host the Kidfish Classic at Mark Holtz Lake at the ballpark next Saturday beginning at 9 a.m. Always a lot of fun for the youngsters. Kidfish is an outreach program designed to educate and provide hands-on fishing experience to kids of all ages. For more information, call 877-733-5646. Those kids will have a great time with one of the big outdoorsmen in the Ranger clubhouse in Kenny Rogers. He's from Dover, Florida. He knows how to bait a hook. Carlos Beltran has not had the impact tonight that he had in last night's game with 2 home runs, including the grand slam against Francisco Cordero. That pitch just off the plate inside. Beltran has walked and he's grounded to third. This is the side where he has had trouble this year. Batting 100 points less right-handed than he is left-handed. They got to take advantage of that. And here are the Texas lottery numbers tonight, and revolves around Kenny Rogers. Look how he has done it this evening. 14 groundouts, only 2 balls in the air and a couple of strikeouts. He has not walked a batter. And gets Beltran to chase one off the plate.
He's been making some great pitches. He has painted that outside corner one after the other with good changeups and good sinkers. And a master at location and changing speeds tonight.
And now he'll face Mike Sweeney. Sweeney is singled. Had one of the only 2 hits allowed tonight. And then the fly ball to center. Well, there's a beauty of a curveball. And Sweeney, you see him wincing in pain. He has not been happy all night with the strike zone from John Shulock. He's gone 10 for 22 against the Rangers this year. The 0-1. Bounce toward A-Rod. Gets the nice belt high hop over to first, and there are 2 outs.
John Hart's watching the game tonight with one of his trusted advisors. That's Tom Giordano in the blue shirt on the left. Tom has been with John in Cleveland, in Baltimore. One of the well-respected baseball men that's ever come down the baseball line. Been in baseball for a long time.
John Hart's consigliere. Now Joe Randa. He is grounded out and popped up behind first base. Todd Green made a nice play over near the stands to bring that one back. John with Tom Giordano. Tom Giordano has quite a sounding board. They've gone back so many years. And certainly has been frustrating for Texas so far this year. If Randa does reach, Mark Quinn would be next. The pitch. And there's a strike. It's 3-1. I mean, things have been so frustrating for the Rangers that even Chan-Ho Park was involved in a minor traffic accident yesterday driving around Arlington. He's okay. It was not his fault. He was hit in the side by another driver, hit on the passenger side, and he will pitch tomorrow. That one somehow got by Kenny and goes through to center field. So Randa with a 2-out single keeps the inning open for Kansas City, and Mark Quinn will bat.
You have to hit it pretty hard to sneak it by Kenny, and that ball was hit pretty hard by Randa. Drilled it up the middle. Kenny's probably still upset with himself for not catching it. Too hot to handle.
He wants to pound his hand down on the mound in the worst way after it got by him, but he thought better of it. He's gone 6 2/3 tonight. Boy, Mark Quinn, he just goes up there hacking. He was a guy that was in Tony Muser's doghouse They just couldn't see eye to eye. He began the season on the DL with a broken rib, but he had 17 home runs last year for Kansas City, including 9 in the first month of the year. Sends that one foul off to the right. It just seems like when you talked about the way Kenny's been working, and you see a guy like Quinn taking the kind of swings that he has, that Kenny tries to find the way to really exploit that over aggressiveness and just not throw him anything close to the plate.
Yeah, I think a guy like Kenny probably enjoys facing a free swinger. It's the contact guys, a guy like Herb Perry, a guy like Sweeney, that hits the ball where it's pitched, doesn't strike out. Those kind of guys give Kenny a bigger problem than the free swingers.
Nice play, corner to corner by Herbert Perry to Todd Green. The inning is over, and Kenny Rogers continues his shutout roll. On to the bottom of the 7th inning. Michael Young will bat third with the Rangers leading 3-0. Summary as we head to the bottom of the 7th of the ballpark. Texas leading 3-0, thanks in large part to 2 players. Herbert Perry, who now has a 10-game hitting streak, 2 for 3 tonight, including a home run and a couple of RBIs. And Kenny Rogers has been outstanding. Only 86 pitches. He's gotten 16 ground ball outs. Gabe Kapler starts the 7th. Darrell May has pitched well tonight for the Royals, but Kenny's been just a little bit better. Kapler's 0 for 2 with a fly ball and a strikeout. That one goes by Steve Smith at third base. Well, Chan-Ho Park will be on the mound tomorrow for Texas, wrapping up the homestand against Paul Byrd. Byrd 8-2 for the Royals. The Royals have won 21 games and Bird's won 8 of them. There was a time when he was winning 50% of their games. He would have 5 wins, the team would have 10, then it got to 7 and they had 14. And one time he had 8 when they had 16 wins. He's not overpowering, but he has been a winner this year. Gabe takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 2-2.
That was a pretty amazing graphic we had yesterday between Byrd and Suppan. No other starter had won a game.
And hopefully that'll continue tonight with the Rangers leading 3-0. That slider into the hands of Kapler, but he got a piece of it. Texas got a run in the first, again in the second, and their 3rd run in the 5th. Very few opportunities with men in scoring position, but they have made them count tonight. Time for the Ford leaderboard with batting average in the last 10 days in the American League, and Kenny Rogers is shutting down the hottest team, the Royals, and the Rangers right behind in 2nd place at 293. Yet the Rangers haven't been able to turn that into enough victories to put together any kind of substantial streak.
The Royals built that average against the Rangers.
Taking those 3 games in Kansas City and another one last night. Time called by Kapler. But it all starts with pitching, and Ismael Valdez did a very nice job for the Rangers last night, but watched the 7th inning just explode with disappointment. Kenny Rogers coming back and lifting the club tonight. I don't think Tony Payne can ask much more out of Darrell May tonight. Comes to a ball club that gives him an opportunity to pitch, and now is showing signs after having a groin injury. Even after he was activated again, he re-aggravated it, that he appears to be showing signs of the kind of guy that Tony Payne will be able to depend on in their rotation. Needs somebody behind Jeff Suppan and Paul Byrd, as we see Al Nipper make his way toward the mound. Let's head out to the ballpark again and find Jim Knox.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Vince. A real treat tonight. That's right. The U.S. National Club Championships held in Dallas today, and the team that won the whole thing right here, Fim Dogs out of Houston. This is the MVP, Maria Roth, and you guys guys all of a sudden celebrating here at the ballpark in Arlington?
We couldn't think of a better way than to celebrate our championship tonight than to come out and cheer on A-Rod and the Texas Rangers.
That's right, and the USA National Club Volleyball Tournament. How many teams involved today?
There were 48 teams from around the nation, and I'd like to introduce the team real quick if I could. This is Kate, Monica, Holly, Michelle, and Angie.
And I tell you what, girls, in doing so, we're going to surprise you girls with Decker dogs for everyone. Also, ice cream sandwiches. And now, the all-important 20-bat salute. There we go. Congratulations to the Finn dogs and Houston. And enjoy the rest of the game, girls. Back to you, Vince.
All right, Jim, I know that's their diet. Hot dogs and ice cream sandwiches, that's what got them to the championship. Sounds like an announcer's diet. Well, Nipper concludes this conversation. Now Hasselman bats with Kapler at first. And the runner goes. A little weak tapper on the right side. That'll get Kapler in a scoring position. Fabulous' play to first. Even though Bill cost himself in that bat, he still got the runner over. With Jaron Aaron putting the man in motion. There is some activity for Kansas City in their bullpen with the sinker ball specialist Dan Reichert, who was one of the 6 pitchers used last night by Tony Pena, who worked 1/3 of an inning before he was relieved by Jason Grimsley, and he's going to get another chance tonight. The Rangers used 7 pitchers last night in the 11-inning game, which was won by Kansas City. Well, we see Tony Pena 2 weeks in as a major league manager for the first time. He came into this game with his Royals 1 game over 500. Tony Pena gives him an attaboy so well that he dropped his glove. But Dan Reichert comes on. Texas leading 3-0, and we'll see Reichert face the Rangers right after this. It's another full weekend of racing across the Fox networks continuing tomorrow. Start your race day with NASCAR this morning, presented by Smirnoff Ice on Fox Sports Net, followed by the MBNA Platinum 400 on FX. Then get a full wrap-up of all the day's action on NASCAR Victory Lane All Access on Fox Sports Net. The Fox Networks, your home for NASCAR. Well, now Dan Reichert goes to work for the Royals for the 2nd consecutive game. Reichert was in the rotation earlier this season, but now once again working out of the bullpen.
I think they'd like him to be in the rotation. They expect more of him than just a middleman, but he's pitched much better in relief. In 10 relief outings, a 1.69 ERA. As a starter, he was 0-3 with a 7.01 earned run average. He was a #1 draft choice. Guy with a power sinker, good arm. And I think eventually the Royals would like to see him in the rotation.
Faced 2 batters last night, gave up a base hit to Palmeiro and struck out Juan Gonzalez. He faces Michael Young, who doubled off the wall in center his first time up, which ended an 0-for-19 slide for him, and then he later scored on the base hit by Herbert Perry. Michael can start building that average back up. He also walked earlier tonight as well, and he's made every play at second base again. Another sinker missing off the plate outside. Kapler with good speed, the runner at second. See if Michael can drive him home. The Rangers have not won a game with a left-handed starter out there since April 17th, when they beat Scott Schoenweiss of the Anaheim Angels. 2-12, the worst numbers in that category in baseball. As Reichert gets in a strike, but they got Darrell May out of the game. He was effective for the most part. But the Rangers got 3 runs off of him and 5 hits, and Kenny Rogers hasn't allowed any. The other lefty the Rangers beat was Mark Mulder earlier this season as well. Now 3-1 to Michael Young. Reichert's pitch on the way. Comes right back with another one of those sinkers. Michael may be frustrated that he went after that pitch. was played in all but 6 games for Texas. Battling his way through this offensive slump. Reaches for one and sends it up the first baseline, and Sweeney has it. Moves Kapler on to third base. But that's the second out of the inning, and now Calvin Murray will hit. He's 0 for 3.
That was a good outing for Darrell May. Pitched into the 7th inning, only gave up 5 hits, had a couple of walks and 6 strikeouts. He had better stuff tonight than he did in Kansas City against the Rangers.
And maybe getting closer to 100% from the groin injury that he had earlier this year. Brad Radke went on the DL for Minnesota, came back, thought he was ready, threw 12 pitches, and went right back on the DL for Minnesota this week. Not that any injury is any easier to come back from as opposed to another, but when you're a pitcher and you're striding down the slope of the mound toward the plate, if you've got discomfort in your legs, you might alter your mechanics and cause trouble someplace else. But Calvin reached for that sinker away, and it's 0-2. Well, at least the Rangers tonight have, to this point, quieted the bats of Kansas City. A team that came in with 11 home runs against the Rangers this year. 11 of their 38 home runs come at the expense of Texas pitching. Kenny Rogers has stepped up with a fantastic sinker ball tonight. That slider just missed, and it's 1-2. There was a time when the Rangers were in the middle of that impressive stretch of winning games where they were winning a lot of low-scoring games, scoring 3 or 4 runs. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes on Murray. We were talking about draft picks earlier tonight, and the Rangers' #1 draft pick of a year ago, Mark Teixeira, was activated today and playing for the Port Charlotte Rangers. That one just fouled back. Mark having an elbow injury to his non-throwing arm in spring training, and had to spend a lot of time with no activity whatsoever. And some people thought that maybe Teixeira could push to Double-A at some point this year had he had a full season. We'll have to wait and see. Pitch to Calvin. Slider backs up but stayed inside, and it's 2-2. Texas got a home run from Herbert Perry in the first inning, and it has stood up the rest of the way so far. The ball hit in the air to left. Coming on is Sadler. He's there to make the catch. The Rangers done in the 7th inning. Moving to the 8th, Kenny Rogers still going back to work. He's pitching a shutout with the Rangers in front 3-0. Kenny Rogers has 1 complete game shutout this year. That was against the Seattle Mariners at Safeco Field when he beat them on April 19th 9-0. A little tighter game tonight, but Kenny no less effective as he's held the Royals down. Kenny waiting for Juan Gonzalez to get in position in right field as he gets ready to face Luis Alicea. There's Juan. Alicea still struggling against Kenny Rogers. Now 1 for 18 in his career. Takes one off the plate. Alicea was a guy that spent a lot of time talking with Juan Gonzalez when he was with the Rangers. They would try to keep him focused. Luis, a veteran, and he was around when Juan had some of his best years, including a 2nd MVP award. Louis played mostly second for the Rangers and then found himself playing a lot of third base in his last year with Texas. It's his second year with the Royals. The 2000 season we talked about earlier tonight, he played in 139 games. Kenny missing badly there, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. He has not walked a batter yet tonight. Now the 3-1 pitch. Here's a strike. LSA taking it all the way. And it's a full count, only the 6th time tonight that Kenny's had a 3-ball count on the batter, and there is some activity behind him with Anthony Telford, who pitched in last night's game, loosening in the Ranger bullpen.
I think Anthony Telford is becoming a guy Jerry Narron feels very comfortable going to. He's had him up very frequently in the short time that he's been here. He's done the job for him.
Kenny comes back and gets Luis Alicea. It's time for the Lowe's Improvement Note, brought to you by Lowe's Improvement Warehouse. We talked prior to the game about how well the Royals have been doing against Texas offensively. Well, look what Kenny Rogers done against them tonight. They've managed only 3 hits. Everything has stayed in the park, and hopefully the Rangers will get their first win against the Royals this season in 5 tries. A.J. Hinch at the plate. It all starts with pitching. Jerry Narron preaches that on a daily basis, and he's gotten it from his veteran tonight. Kenny bidding for his 6th win of the year. There's a swing and a foul off to the right. You just get Chan Ho Park going, and hopefully that'll begin tomorrow against these Royals. They start feeling better about the rotation. Ismael Valdez has certainly done his job. Dave Burba back in the rotation against the Angels next week. And Rob Bell is in the rotation right now. But really, for Texas, the 2 most consistent ones have been Rogers and Valdez. Rogers has been consistent, and he's been on the winning end much more than Izzy has. A 1-out single by Hinch in the left field, and that brings Donnie Sadler to the plate. We'll see how long Jerry Narron is going to stay with Kenny Rogers. When you talk about Anthony Telford, I mean, that's part of the problems that the Rangers have had. As Kenny closes in on 100 pitches tonight. Now with not disarray, but not a lot of consistency in the bullpen. It's like you're trying to grab that hot arm that's pitching well at the moment and hope that you can ride it for a while.
Yeah, if Anthony gets in the ball game tonight, he'll pitch 4 times in 6 days, so that is riding the hot hand, but he's been getting the job done.
Ball 1 to Sadler. Here's Telford, who began the season at AAA. And now 1 ball and 1 strike. Sadler has grounded out twice. Last time back to the mound. Kenny hasn't had to go from the stretch a whole lot tonight. It's a fastball into Sadler, and it's now 1-2. There was a time when Kenny had 14 consecutive outs from the 1st inning into the 6th inning. He may not be facing the most potent lineup in baseball, but he still has to make his pitches, and tonight he has been getting that done with great consistency. And that time he just finished off Sadler. 2 strikeouts in the inning, giving him 5 on the night. Tony Pena watching a veteran go to work here.
It looked like a pretty good pitch. Definitely high enough. And from our angle, difficult to tell if it's on the inside corner or not, but based on where Hasselman's glove was, it looked like it was.
Now Nathy Perez, he singled his last time up, just the 2nd hit that Kenny allowed. They've all been singles. Sweeney in the 1st, Perez in the 6th, or 4 hits now. Randa in the 7th, and now Hinch here in the 8th. Perez batting leadoff again. He had a thumb injury quite a bit last year, which really slowed him down offensively, but it never slows down his smile. He's definitely Tony Peña's type of player. Oh, good sweeping curveball. Haven't seen him feature that pitch much in the later innings, but he just uncorked a dandy. Perez still thinking about that pitch. Navy, who started his career with the Rockies and had a lot of success there, 31 of his career home runs, and he's hit 46 have come in Colorado. Try to get him on another breaking ball. A lot of Rocky players and Rocky faithful were disappointed to see Perez go. An emotional player, a very good player, won a Gold Glove for Colorado. A guy that was always positive in the clubhouse, always upbeat. Got him swinging as Kenny just struck out the side in the 8th inning. He's serving notice to Jerry Narron that he wants to go back out there in the 9th and pitch another complete game shutout. Herbert Perry leads off the bottom of the 8th. 3-0 Texas, bottom of the 8th inning, with this reminder that coming to a Rangers game with your company or group means fun for everybody. You can even reserve the Sonny Bryant's Pavilion or one of the private picnic areas. Make your plans now to host your next group outing at the ballpark. To order your discounted group tickets, call 817-273-5100. There's a winning Ranger team all the way from Abilene. Great to see them at the ballpark. Surprised Jim Knox hasn't found them yet. On bat night, 39,000 and change at the ballpark, and they have enjoyed what they've seen so far tonight. Kenny Rogers spinning a 4-hitter, and Herbert Perry a big part of it. Part of the Dykert clan right there. Those are pretty good seats. Brought his own net. Is that his own net?
Fritz heard us say last night the place to get a ball is next to the net man, so he went down there and made sure he got a seat right next to him.
It'd be kind of hard to catch it with his right hand. Look at that smile. Hitters count at 2-0 here for Herbert. Takes it all the way. Homered with one out of the first inning. That was against Darryl May. It was his 6th of the year. Struck out in the 3rd and then singled in another run in the 5th inning, bringing home Michael Young. This number 2 spot has been working out so far for Herbert Perry. It's been working out for Jerry Narron. And maybe not the perfect spot that you'd want him. You want to see him further down in the lineup to produce some runs. But like we talked about last night, he's been a guy that's been getting on base. And you want to take advantage of having been on base with the guy behind him, Alex Rodriguez. Hit off twice last night. That ball hit hard toward left. Perez, even with the great dive, can't get it. Herbert Perry continues to pummel the baseball. Milkman is he's getting it done.
He just almost gives a great example every time up of the type of hitter that he is. Throw the ball in, you rip it to left field. You throw it away, he'll hit it on a line to right field. Perez gives it a great try. It's been fun watching him make that throw if he was able to come up with it.
Now Alex Rodriguez will bat. Herbert will only improve on his on-base percentage, which was right at .380 before play began tonight. That high chopper is going to go foul. Alex hit the ball extremely hard his last time up. A low knuckling line drive towards center field that Carlos Beltran caught, but still hitless in 3 tries. And those season numbers, 4 of the home runs and 10 of the RBIs have come against Royals pitching. And he is the league leader in home runs, the major league leader in RBIs. Texas now with 6 hits on the night. Well, we thought about it on Wednesday night after the emotional comeback win to beat Minnesota that you thought maybe would carry over to Friday night. And for a while it did, but the Royals ended up winning. Texas will hope to hold on to this one and try again tomorrow. Ground ball to Perez, to Fabulous, to Sweeney. They get them all. It's a 6-4-3 double play. And don't forget the Texas Rangers baseball camps provide an opportunity for boys and girls ages 7 to 13 to receive professional instruction from former major leaguers and college coaches. Baseball camps will be held June 11th through the 14th and the 18th through the 21st. For more information, 817-273-5297. Now Rafael Palmeiro will bat. He's 0 for 3. And that ball goes way inside. Here's a night so far, Tom, where Alex is 0 for 4. Rafi is 0 for 3. Juan is 1 for 3, and he has scored a run, but those two guys at 3 and 4 haven't done anything, and the Rangers have still found ways to score with other people.
Well, they've scored 3 times, and so far in that game, in this game, it's enough thanks to the great pitching from Kenny Rogers. But you're right, the middle of the lineup has been quiet, but Herbert Perry has remained pretty loud, as he's been almost every time he's had a chance to play since he's been in the lineup on a regular basis. Michael Young chipped in with a double and scored a run. Todd Green continues to get a chance to play and swing the bat well. He drove in a run too.
Time for Nextel You Make the Call. The Rangers do have some activity going with Hideki Irabu. 8 shutout innings for Kenny Rogers. Does he go back out there and pitch the 9th, or do you just go to your closer in Irabu? That's a decision that Jerry Narron has to make. I think he stays with Kenny Rogers at this point. He really hasn't been tested at all tonight. One base runner has gotten beyond first base, and that's it. Ball foul, although fielded by Sweeney. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the other way of thinking about that is Irabu struggled. You want to get him back on the horse as quickly as possible, and a 3-run lead at the beginning of an inning is a way to get that done. Although he has allowed runs in 3 of his last 4 times out there, including last night's home run barrage in the 11th inning in the span of 5 pitches, giving up the 3 long balls. Two-two pitch, down and in. Now when Kenny threw the complete game on the road at Seattle, he then came back and threw back-to-back 7-inning performances against Toronto. Walked only 1 batter in each game, allowed only 2 runs in each game. So you don't really think that the complete game took a lot out of him in cool Seattle. As Palmeiro takes the walk. Kenny doesn't have his jacket on. He doesn't have the wrap around his arm either. The warm towel to keep his arm loose, so we'll have to wait and see. Juan Gonzalez bats. Jason Romano now pinch running for Palmeiro. Really trying to get in a position to score an insurance run for Texas here with 2 outs. Scoring a drive into the gap or down the line. Tony Pena saying, I know that music. I know it very well. The pitch to Juan. Sinks over but low, ball 1. Kenny's gone over 100 pitches in each of his last 4 starts. It is June 1st, but it's not very hot here at the ballpark tonight. It was warm around batting practice, but it's cooled off nicely. It's a ground ball up the middle. It is through. Romano turns but holds at second base, and the Rangers still with a chance to eke out their 4th run of the night. I just think with Rogers sitting on the bench and not having the towel wrapped around him, although he's sitting next to Bill Hasselman, There's intrigue there.
Moving those bone chips around a little bit, trying to get him aligned so he can go back out there.
Just the way he finished off the 8th inning with the striking out the side of the Royals, and we saw the purposeful stride coming off the hill toward the dugout. It's like he really was trying to influence Jerry Aaron and to let him go back out there in the 9th inning. Well, Todd Green is being lifted, and Mike Lamb will now bat. Infielders meet with Dan Reicherts as Lamb stands in. Mike has really been swinging a hot bat. He's lifted his average by going 14 for his last 29 at the plate, covering some 9 games. Max Suzuki's been loosening in the bullpen for Kansas City. And the left-hander Brian Schaus. And Tony Pena is on his way to remove Dan Reicherts. So Reichert is out of the game. And here comes the sidewinding Brian Schaus. He'll pitch against Mike Lamb after this, with Texas leading 3-0. Texas leading 3-0 over the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. It's time for the Pennzoil protection play. It was Kenny Rogers in the 8th inning, still working on the shutout. And he struck out Luis Alicea, came back from a 3-0 count there. Got Donnie Sadler looking on the inside corner. Then to wrap up the inning, Nathy Perez. Kenny Rogers with the striking out of the side. Pennzoil, Weir driving protection. Well, Brian Schaus comes on to work as he pitches from down under. And misses inside to Mike Lamb, ball 1.
Mike Benefro style. 19th game for Brian. Giving up 1 hit and no runs in his last 5 outings. Only 3 innings in those 5 outings. Kind of a situational lefty. Come in to face a lefty or two.
Mike has done a nice job against left-handers in his career. Always had that kind of swing that just never seemed to have a very long swing. Schaus, his big league experience with the Pirates and the Red Sox prior to the season. He's also pitched briefly in Japan back in 1998. Last year in the Astros system at AAA New Orleans. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lamb. Lefties against Schaus have hit .240 with a couple of home runs. He's allowed 3 home runs on the year, so he's actually allowed more home runs to lefties this year than to righties. He's a 33-year-old veteran and missed badly with that breaking ball. Last few years he's been at New Orleans, Rochester, Norfolk, Tucson, and he pitched for the Kintitsu Buffaloes in Japan, Boston, and Pawtucket. That ball sent in the air towards center, but Perez shading him up the middle is there to make the play. The Rangers are done in the 8th inning. Kenny Rogers will answer the bell to start the 9th, bidding for his 2nd complete game shutout of the year, leading the Royals 2-0. Kenny Rogers starting the 9th inning. Facing 2, 3, and 4 in the Royals lineup, beginning with Carlos Fables, and just missed outside. Kenny had 2 complete game shutouts in only 1 other season in his career, 1994. He was with the Rangers when he was pitcher of the year, went 11-8 that year. Evens the count on Fables, who is 0 for 3. Hit into a double play his last time up. Kenny trying to get that 6th win with emphasis on finishing the game.
One of those complete game shutouts that year was also a perfect game.
Oh, yes.
That's a real complete game shutout.
Kenny will move into the league's top 10 again in innings pitched after tonight's performance. And sailing down the right field line into foul ground, slicing toward the seats. Mike Lamb, who stayed in the game at first base, and Michael Young gave chase. Fabulous 0 for 7 in the series. 0 for 17 against the Rangers. Fabulous has never hit well against Texas. He's been a lifetime 175 hitter coming into this year, and those numbers have gone down dramatically. It's a high chopper to third. Perry reaches for it, can't get it. Kapler fires towards second base. Fabulous with the head first slide is in safely as he opens the ninth inning with a 2-base hit, ending his 0 for against Texas this year.
Kenny a little bit upset. He just beat that ball right into the ground, took a huge hop. It's like Herbert misjudged the hop a little bit. And it takes a step in and then has to go back. Would have made a little bit of the difference. He wouldn't have had Fabulous at first base, but he would have kept him at first if he was able to catch that ball.
Now Beltran. Remember, he has struggled from the right side this year. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Kenny surrendering his 5th hit of the evening. Just missed with that sinker outside. Beltran has hit 2 of his home runs of the 8 from this side of the plate. Here's a strike. And one of those was against Chris Mahalik, the former Ranger who accepted free agency yesterday and now looking to sign on with another organization. Never got the word on what Steve Woodard is doing, if he in fact has accepted the assignment to Oklahoma or if he is looking to join another organization. Kenny trying to go the whole way. Sinker just missed low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. And the tying run is in the on-deck circle, and it's the dangerous Mike Sweeney. The bullpen has struggled for Texas, so Jerry Naron factoring that in, even though Arabu is probably ready to go in the bullpen. And pitch is fouled off down the right side, even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Arabu has come into the game with men on base only once this year, and that was game 1 of the doubleheader at Kansas City. And the 2 runs came home in the 8th inning, and then Randa won it with a home run in the 9th. The blown save for Arabu, the first one since April 20th. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kenny trying to preserve the shutout. The pitch. Oh, Beltran just got a piece of it. Well, for the Royals, they've got the guys coming up that they need to try to complete the comeback. Not going to be easy for Kenny to take it all the way through. Two balls and 2 strikes. Off the plate outside. That was Kenny's 114th pitch of the night. You wonder how much longer Jerry Naron will stay with Kenny. The most he's thrown was the 116 in the game in Seattle. A full count to Beltran. Now he steps out. Three-two pitch. Fly ball in a shallow right. A play for Gonzalez. He'll make the catch. Fabulous will go on to third, and the Rangers will concede the base. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares, and by your Texas Dodge dealers. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns.
That's a big out for Kenny right there. Big out for the Rangers. If he ends up letting Beltran get on base, if Beltran walks, Jerry's probably going to bring in Arabu. And the problem with that is Arabo's been prone to the long ball lately. Sweeney took him deep last night, ran to beat him in Kansas City with a 2-run homer. He's been getting his fastball up, not locating it very well with 2 men on and nobody out. That would have been a dangerous situation.
Kenny rearing back for a little extra to Mike Sweeney, brushing him back up and in with the 4-seamer.
Right-hand hitters have seen a lot of pitches away, so the tendency is to look out over the plate, and you can see Sweeney striding in anticipation of a pitch away, so that when you get one inside, it can be a little bit tough to get out of the way. Kenny really has not pitched in that much today, hasn't had to. He's been so effective with his sinker and his changeup away.
Now the count even on Sweeney at a ball and a strike. Sweeney has a couple of home runs against the Rangers this year, 5 RBIs, but only a single back in the first inning. Kenny Rogers trying to get a complete game shutout and do it here at home. There's a strike.
There's that fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Sweeney's had an ongoing conversation all night with John Shulak. And Jaron Aaron sees a good pitch and gets the right call. Kenny trying to post the Rangers' 4th complete game. They've all been shutouts the previous 3. That one just missed low. Doug Davis against Oakland on April 11th. Kenny Rogers we've talked about on April 19th at Seattle. Dave Berber having a complete game, but not a shutout, an 8-1 win against Toronto. The other shutout for Texas was with Kenny Rogers combining with Hideki Irabu, beating the Tigers here at the ballpark on May 10th. Sure looks calm, realizing he might have a decision to make. 2-2 pitch, curve in the dirt. We've got a runner at third base with 1 out in the inning. There's Carlos Fablis. Kenny has thrown more pitches tonight than he has in any other game this year. And doing so because he wants the shutout. He's run the count full and the payoff. It's fouled off again.
Well, Kenny's still throwing well. 89 miles an hour. That's his best fastball tonight.
Coming up after the game tonight, don't forget the Southwest Sports Report. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to teams throughout the Southwest. Rabu ready. He comes in if Jaron Aaron makes the call, but Kenny wants to take it all the way in. Another 3-2 pitch to Mike Sweeney. Hit it hard but foul off to the right. Another pitch at 89 miles an hour. There's some adrenaline flowing through Kenny's body here in the 9th inning. It's the most pitches he's thrown this year at 122, and a lot of deep counts in this inning. Certainly more so than what he had when he was cruising through the middle innings. He did not have a complete game all last year, making 20 starts in an injury-plagued campaign. Ground ball to second. The run will score. Young on to first. Fablis is in. The shutout is gone. Texas leads now 3-1. Sweeney gets an RBI. It is his 30th of the year. So Kenny now will settle, he hopes, for his 2nd complete game of the year. Joe Randa stands in the way. Randa singled his last time up. Again, 89 miles an hour. Kenny Rogers finding something extra to finish this game. Kenny wants a new baseball. A lot of ground balls tonight for Kenny. He has not walked a batter. He has struck out 6. It's been a marvelous performance by the 37-year-old Kenny Rogers. Changeup off the plate outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year, Kenny had a 5-7 record with a 6.19 ERA. And the pitch just outside.
But Jerry's agonizing on the bench. He may look calm, but he was being torn up inside. He knows the pitch total's getting up. He doesn't want to see Kenny throw 130 pitches. At the same time, he wants to win the ball game, and he's feeling that Kenny gives him the best chance to do that. Rabu's been struggling. He'll bring him in if he has to, but I don't think he wants to.
Ground ball up the middle. A-Rod's got it. On to first. In time. Complete game victory for Kenny Rogers. What a way to rise up after last night's disappointing loss. Kenny Rogers takes the Rangers on his back and brings it all the way home. Final score, Texas 3, Kansas City 1. On the Southwest Sports Report, there'll be more on tonight's game. Rick Renner and Dave Benz report on the College World Series and much more straight ahead. And now, your Southwest Sports Report.